And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. Joined again, Sean Gervais from OrbisX CRM and Marshall Hill from the Pints Polishing Podcast, as well as Hyper Clean Car Care Products. That's car care, not detailing. Car care. It's for everything.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
All right. So there were some shots fired at a Canadian this past weekend.
Yep. There were.
You know, there's some tariffs been put on place. I mean, do y'all just want to trade the maple syrup and just get it over with?
Well, the
What do y'all
funny
want
thing
to do?
is, though, this is like a David and Goliath scenario here because all this stuff going on, but yet still can't stop us, and you can't.
Where are you going? Are you doing anything? What are y'all doing?
What are you gonna do? Listen, we will get our military with our plastic spoons, and we will see you at the border. No, yeah, no, it's crazy actually. It's been obviously there's a lot of different thoughts, different camps going on in Canada in particular. There's a lot of people that are worried about the future and stuff like that, but then there's a lot of people too that are like, this is the time to unite. And there's this whole movement going on now about buy Canadian and stuff like that. The cool thing that's come out of it, I think, is that there's a lot of websites that are popping up and people are listing, where to buy products, Canadian products, things like that. But the cool ones I found weren't so much the ones that were, popping up saying, here's where you can buy only Canadian. There were a couple outliers that popped up because there's a lot of people here that have dual citizenship. We live so close to the border. There were a couple sites that popped up and it said, let's support both sides of the fence. And they were listing American and Canadian products side by side and stuff like that. And the reason I thought that was cool is because no matter what happens, tariff on this, tariff on that, or taxes or whatever, everything aside from a war, we are going to be neighbors, And so,
Here. All
yeah,
right.
salut, hurrah, exactly. That's probably the most Canadian speech I ever gave. But reality is, we're not saying sorry. But no, it's nice. I like what it is for me. I like when I see people fired up, whatever it is. I like when I see people passionate about something, and a lot of the times people just get complacent in life and they're just kind of blah blah blah. And I've seen that on both sides of our border. I've seen it here at home, and I've seen it in the United States as well, where people just get complacent, comfortable. Life is just life. It's nice to see when people are fired up for some shit. And so
Sort
that,
of like, sort of like me watching the halftime performance. It was like,
yeah,
pretty complacent here.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I'm gonna get up and go ahead and watch
That's,
something else.
that's
Like
for me. It was
it was horrible.
Oh
I don't
man,
know. Are you a Kendrick fan?
no, not at all. And not because of the beef that's going on with him, Drake, and Canada, and all that stuff. I he has maybe two songs that I like from like long time ago. It's just not really my cup of tea. Half the time I can't understand what he's saying. The other half, it sounds like he's reading a Dr. Seuss book. Just not a huge fan, And
Did you watch the game?
I did, yeah. Watch it here, and
Interesting stat. The highest watched Super Bowl or something, I think, was like
really
one
good.
of the highest watched Super Bowls. But for all of us international fans and those that watch and listen to this episode outside of America, and you will appreciate another stat that I saw.
All right.
Uh, the Man City, I think, Man City versus Liverpool,
Hmm.
109,000. And it was just a friendly game in the U.S. versus the Super Bowl had like 107. You go,
Yeah,
hmm,
yeah.
is football the most popular sport in America? A
Mm,
friendly game draws more than
yeah.
the Super
Your
Bowl.
crowd. That's wild,
You
huh?
go, whoa.
Yeah.
Have tides changed?
That's uh,
Is 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 that part of why Trump is trying to get everybody out? Right? Like
mm,
we got to get football back.
yeah, yeah, yeah. American football. That's
Wait,
that's the end goal here. Is that the
wait a second. Did I just say that? I love the meme. Did you see the meme where they're like, "Oh no, they got Dora," and the
oh,
ISIS police have Dora taken?
oh no, Diego's gonna be pissed. Oh no, ay Dios mío. That's
Where's
crazy.
my
I haven't
backpack?
seen that. Jesus, that's wild, man. It's here we have similar type problems in a way. Maybe not to the same extent, obviously, but here we have major problems like that too.
Well,
The
no, have you heard though? Like literally,
oh
here there was news broadcast. There's there's some shakeup. There's not only with the tariffs,
Mhm.
there was a guy down in Dallas. It was a detailer. He posted on social media, if your detailer got picked up by ICE, we're
Oh,
still here.
oh my God. That's a bold move right there. That's crazy. Damn. Damn. But there's gonna be shakeup because geez. I mean, we had a similar type situation happen here. So in our city, a lot of migrants come here first. A lot of immigrants come here first before going to Toronto because it's the capital and it's lower cost than Toronto. So they set up here and then they go. They're only here temporarily, and some of them they come in on like a student visa, something like that, and then it just lapses. But there's no real like entity to pursue that. It just expires, and it's on the honor system. It's like, please come renew it or go home, please. It's like they just stay, But then of course they can't getting a traditional job like working somewhere is not possible, so they go into business of some kind, but because they don't have to be registered, they don't pay taxes, all these things, their costs are just lower. It just is. So they charge accordingly. Their needs are different. To them, $50 for a detail, for example, they just won the lottery. In a lot of cases. So we have like similar problems like that here. But damn, that's crazy. I don't
So
think I've.
imagine, right? Imagine if it was just a couple months ago where our boy on the bike,
Yeah,
right? If he didn't make that train of death that second time, what's happens if he was
it's true.
a couple months late? Like
Yeah. Oof,
I'm
man.
not sure if the gay status would have gotten him across the
Yeah, yeah,
border.
yeah. I don't think that's so crazy. He used that. That's crazy. Jeez, but you're absolutely right, man. Because he came in just before, like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
wild. What a difference, huh? Timing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
All right, so Super Bowl, you watched it?
Yeah, so watched it. Yeah, yeah, and
At
I
least
know
the first half, yeah. And the
I
reason to watch the second half.
watched. I know, but I did. It was just playing in the background.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
It's playing.
after that, exactly. It was just basically pass me another beer, talking. We played some.
Even my wife, who knows nothing about the sport, kept going, why are they, why? Like, they don't want to play. They don't want to play. I'm like, they want to play. It's a Super Bowl. It's like, she just kept
Yeah,
screaming. I go, you're officially a football. Like, you not watch football. You've got to teach. She was screaming. I was like,
damn.
yes.
She's on board now.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
now you
yeah.
understand.
I
Right?
understand.
She was mad that these guys weren't, she was like, they're not even playing. I was like,
Jeez.
I
Oh
mean, I
man.
mean, they
Yeah, it
are
was.
like
They're present. I don't know if I'd say they're playing, but they were
just
doing
getting their
something.
ass kicked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. At least they didn't finish the game with nothing. You know,
Right.
that was, I guess, something. But also, you got to think, you kind of let off the foot off the gas after a while when it's
Yeah,
like,
of course they did.
yeah, it's like, fuck, like I'm not gonna risk, damaging my knee or whatever.
Mm.
Like we got this in the bag. Makes sense.
But then they still threw that
Yeah,
deep bomb and scored, so they
yeah,
they
yeah.
still took the daggers. They did what they did what they needed to do.
It's true. Yeah, yeah. So,
So thoughts? How'd that Super Bowl party turn out? Did we hear?
Uh, so yeah, so he messaged back. So the guy that was having the Super Bowl party, he messaged back, and it was pretty much as we had kind of predicted and thought that wasn't going to be a super huge turnout. But he was the good thing is he was still very optimistic about it. He was happy that he did it. Happy some people came through. But it was like we predicted. Didn't lead to new sales, new business, nothing like that. Which is to be expected. But that's where it's a stepping stone for the future. You plan something, you learn from it, and it's what he does next time, what he does with the next event, and hopefully sees it as, since he didn't imagine he did spend like 20,000 on beer and spent this and that, and no one came. That would be a lot worse if he didn't spend too much on this one. I'm assuming, and then he can be like, okay, so maybe my money's better put somewhere else where I get bang
Listen,
for the buck.
he asked people to bring chairs, so he didn't spend anything.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
Right. So, as I said last week, if he listens again this week, I want to make sure we remind him. Listen, this was not personal.
Mhm.
It wasn't, and I'm not even going to say that's just business. I'm not going to say that. Like maybe I said that last week. I'm not sure. It. I thought of it the weekend, and I thought and I just went, and I've made a lot of dumb. I made, post tape. Every one of those players is going to go back and they're going to go look at their game film.
Yeah, and
So
Assess.
I
Yeah.
want everybody to look at game film in their business when they try things. Like always still celebrate somebody tries things.
Yeah.
And did I get a little off the, we were off the clock,
Yeah.
you
It's
know? I mean, and I know I listened back and we were like, listen, he asked for it, but it still, I could also hear it and go, listen, if I was him, I could have felt like, oh man, these guys just hating. And I didn't want to come across that way, but sometimes you do have to speak very bluntly because when it comes down to looking at game film, if
yeah.
he goes back and looks at the performance
Yeah.
and he goes and looks at his marketing, goes and looks at the images, goes and looks at everything, and then looks at the turnout, and then looks at what was the purpose of the event. Did the event accomplish what you were trying to do? Yes or no. And then you've got to look at, okay, well, what could I have done different? Should I have taken some different? You have to. If you don't do that,
Then it's a
then
complete fucking waste of time.
then you have to go, I understand why more people are successful than I am.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I
100%.
don't want to take a look at my own self and make progress in things I try. Did my first events turn? No, they were horrible. Like, come on. Did
Yeah, of
events
course.
later turn out bad? Yeah.
Man,
When
first
I
time I
talk
tried those
about stuff
shoes,
now, I talk
terrible.
about the highlights.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, it's the real. Yeah,
But if you want me to, like, I had events where nobody turned out, one or two people. Like, I had events where I went, like, like, of course. Did I go do things at car shows or when I went to go to Whole Foods where I've shared that story? And did I know that I wasted time?
Mm,
Yes. So
yeah.
I had to then look at
But you
what
look
needed to be
being
different.
different.
And I might need to go in a different direction,
Yeah,
right? Like,
it's true. But you wouldn't know unless you tried something.
bingo.
So
So at least he tried.
yeah, the trying part gets a hats off and a round of applause. Absolutely. But you now have to go look at things and say, okay, what could I have done differently? What should I have done? Should I have done it at all? It's all those questions. And I like how you put it where, you assess the things that you did and then did it get the result that you were looking for, right? Because a lot of people don't focus on that part. They're just like, oh, what could I have done differently? And they know they didn't get the result they wanted, but they didn't think too hard about what the result was supposed to be.
Yep.
And if you don't have that goal in mind, then you're just having a party just to have a party, I guess. But
So
if
then say you're having a party, just have a
just to
party.
have a party, yeah, it's true. But if your intention is to introduce people to the shop, do some networking, land some new deals, maybe even close some deals on the spot, like have someone that's detailing while the game's going on, you know.
Cool. Well, no, hold on. Let's start with that first one.
All right.
If you had an idea, right? So then everybody listening and everybody that chimed in, I think you said, hey, one of the best moments
Oh,
where people heard, like,
most
I think,
feedback ever. Yeah.
yeah, like I think it was so cool. Everyone else, we've got now 360 about days,
Yeah.
363, see it 300, what does this call it? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Or the next one. What are you going to do with the greatest event in America minus the other
Minus.
soccer? Okay. What are you going to do that could, and then fill in the blank,
Yeah.
what is it you want to accomplish? What could you do so that this happens?
Yeah.
And I want to give out this idea. This was what I thought of when I was thinking this weekend about him. And I went, okay, what could be done different? Why would somebody not show up, right? We already talked about the chairs, we talked about the food. You're also having to compete with, if it's the greatest moment in, like, and it used to be, it did. I think
Yeah.
that's why they had, what's that old the old Dallas coach? There was the Miami coach, Jimmy Johnson. I think that's why they redid that. I think that's why Kendrick had the red, white, and blue. I think that's why Trump was, I think, like, they did all that pre-game with that girl on the piano. Right? Everything was about coming together. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to compete with your customer, what you're wanting to get him to your shop, compete with his own house, his own wife, kids, or his
brother-in-law.
friends that are hosting
Yeah.
a big party, Like
Yeah.
you're having to compete at that moment. Same reason why you shouldn't run a television commercial. I mean, the amount, right? So you go into that moment, you go, shit, I can't do this. I
Yeah.
really can't. This is not when we talk about Rocky and Creed, which remind me, right? Like, I mean, this isn't Creed getting this random call to go do the title fight. Like, he had 17 bouts down in Mexico. He randomly gets a shot at the title. That ain't you, bro. That ain't
Yeah.
you. You're not going to get a shot to compete against the Super Bowl with your customer. So still tie in the moment and do a car show celebrating them at 10 o'clock.
Mm.
At noon, have
Yeah.
smoked wings prepping for the game, right? You could do a pregame that ends by 2, so they
Yeah.
got plenty of time to get right.
They can go to where they
Tie
were
in
going
the
to go.
moment
Yeah.
with their car,
Genius.
celebrate the car, celebrate the people with the really great cars. Then the other people want to come and look at those, right? It's all about the car, a car show. How to then have some, I'm going to say, because you'll be through OrbisX buying HyperClean, you'll be able to sell then people products. They're going to love to come and then see how this car look like that. There's all kinds of ways you can run this moment and not compete against a title fight of America's greatest time that a 30-second commercial now, they said was something like $7 million. I
8
mean,
million. Yeah.
it's
8 million dollars.
insane. So you
Yeah.
can't compete against that. You're not David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can be. This ain't it.
This ain't it. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. You got to know.
Gotta know when to hold them. Gotta know when to fold them.
Yeah,
Gotta know when to walk
100%.
away. Gotta know when to run.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. It's one of the reasons why there's certain holidays we don't advertise at all. We might advertise a couple days before or something like that, or a couple days after, but we just avoid the entire holiday itself. There's just too much going on, and we're wasting our advertising dollars. First off, the cost per click, everything goes up. The effort we have to put in, breaking through the noise is next to impossible. You got to get creative and find other ways to put in that Trojan horse, and that's no, I think that's a great way. Something pregame, people looking for stuff to do, before the actual event
So
happens.
our
Oh, but
international
fun to
people,
do.
right, who
Yeah,
actually have large amounts of people that show up to games.
yeah,
It's a joke. I'm just gonna keep jabbing, right?
yeah.
I
That's
know
fine.
Richard, right? He listens. He's over there. We've got new distributor probably coming on from South Africa.
Very
So
nice.
we'll tie in through there. And I know
Yeah,
people through OrbisX are around the world. And
sweet. Yeah,
listen, I know that soccer is much bigger there than it is here.
absolutely.
So so hear what we're saying about football here and go tie into those moments. You
Hmm.
got big games too. You got big stuff going on. How can you capture attention around those moments? Don't do it at that time. I think you should tie in a little bit ahead of time, celebrate the people, celebrate their car, do a car show, something, and then let everybody get off. But give them something good to eat, give them some good stuff to hang out, and let them
Yeah.
go play. Just be part of the event, not the event.
Exactly. Nothing like a game day barbecue before the actual, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that. That's good. And it's funny. I was doing the same thing this weekend too. I was reflecting about it, talking to my wife about it, because I was trying to put myself in those shoes because we didn't plan to do anything because we knew there's no point. We're just gonna blow our budget. It's gonna be weak turnout. We just knew. So we're like, oh, just give everyone the day off. Life is good. But I was thinking about it and I was like, hey, so what if I was in his shoes and I had already started down this road of I'm going to do something? And my wife had some pretty cool ideas. She said, well, before the game, like a lot of the wives are not really doing too much. The husbands, prepping things or getting stuff ready. And she said, what you should do is try and focus on the women side and you should do a polish and polish. I was like, what the hell's a polish and polish? And she said, yeah, maybe not that polish, but she said, right beside our shop, there's a manicure place. And so she said you should team up with them. And it's funny, they're new. They're there. I think they've been there 6 months, 8 months, something like that. We've never really done anything with them.
Oh,
And
mannequin. I thought you said mannequin. I thought she was going to like
oh,
that sex robot
mannequin.
stuff. That's what I thought. I don't know why I was like,
That
off
that
the
would draw a
clock.
crowd.
What is
That
he
would draw a
talking
crowd.
about? Like,
Nothing draws a crowd like sex with a mannequin. But no. So polish and polish, and I was like, oh shit, that could actually be something, you know. They go upstairs, they get pampered, and then downstairs their car's getting taken care of and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they come down, and then we could have a little, as her suggestion, my wife said, have a little Instagram shoot. So as their car's clean and they got their nails done and all this and that, they're feeling all glammed up. They can now, you know, nice backdrops behind the cars, and they can take pictures for the gram and stuff. And I was like, holy shit, man, that's actually genius, you know? Like, my wife's gonna replace me as the marketing director. That's what. Yeah, shit.
So this kind of ties. So Nick, my partner, him and I have talked about this. It was a big conversation we had just recently. Uh, and, it ties into people want to be the Super Bowl. They want to have this party where everybody comes. And I love the, like, it goes back to that, right? Love the effort, love the excitement, love everything. But we, we would, we would have since tied that moment and his pride, his arrogance, that he will be able to send an email, wonderful email with OrbisX. I get it. I'm not going to stroke your head in this either. But this pride that he was going to get this, I mean, it's the same as this idea that we could become correction specialist and ceramic coating only specialist. We're a wrap only location. We only do PPF and tint. We have a new distributor came on out of California for us, and he was a wrap and only wrap and PPF and tint, and well, didn't really want a detail. Can't get away though from how many express services he thinks they can do. What he can do with Stack, what he can do with Uno, how he can get people in and through and all, like, and we just go, man, so many people are looking for that big thing. And the easiest thing to do in sales, easiest thing to do in business is to take low hanging fruit.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? Low hanging fruit. How many of us that are struggling, we're going to blame, and we'll get into it in a second, we're going to blame Google. We're going to blame somebody else for not having people in our shops and not having our funnel. And Sean, you know, this is too complicated. How come you don't market better for me? Or what? I don't understand, right? They're always going to,
Yeah.
We're missing so much low hanging fruit at wash, clay, Stack, wash, clay, Uno, wash, decon, Stack, wash, clay, so wash, one step. You know, like these
that's literally the
easy,
formula for staying
easy packages.
Yeah.
And some people hear it and go, yeah. Some people hear it and go, oh, no way. Like, huh? If you took, as a business, and you took that hour, the amount of profit in that hour versus you on a polisher or you doing this, and you go, yeah, but this big ticket of 4,000, yeah, well, this big ticket of 1,200, just do the math of what that could be. I mean, it doesn't matter. This goes back to my point. If when I used to only charge $25 for a sealant upgrade, and my competitors who ended up buying my business when I sold it moved into a car wash, and they were still doing mobile detail. Let's put those two moments into perspective. Two people had to buy my business. I went into a car wash as a part owner, and they continued their mobile detail business. It was a great transaction for both of us because they learned a key fact. $25 for a paint sealant upgrade when you have 10 cents in product is a great margin. It's a great way to take low hanging fruit. Like, sir, customer who's looking for something, I can come in and with wash, clay, Stack, I can have you 6 to 8 months of protection. I'm done in under an hour. It takes me 15 minutes to apply this ceramic coating. Depends on how long it takes you to decon and wash the car. How fast can you get those people in and out at $150, $200?
In and out,
In and out in 1 hour. But we're always thinking we got to get this big ticket. The low hanging fruit with Stack.
They're unstoppable now. And that's where I'm glad you brought this up because I'm a big fan of volume businesses. Big fan. And there's a lot of reasons for that. The biggest one, though, is it's so easy to scale. It's insane. Versus like we do PPF at our shop as well. If I was a PPF only shop, my
Pause right there.
yeah,
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
sorry, no worries.
you say so easy to scale.
Yeah.
In that moment, people, I think, overlook something. Scaling, you have to be able to teach it. You have to be
Yeah.
able to pass it off to a team member. So when people hear scale, they think financial, I think, and volume, and they miss out on a big, big hurdle that
Yeah.
we struggle with
The
is
number one hurdle, really, someone's got to do the
how
work.
do I get the team member to do what I can't do anymore?
Exactly. And you know what the worst problems that ever happened to us when we got into the higher ticket priced items like PPF, even
More
our
specialty.
windshield replacement for a while as well, when we only had one tech, that guy takes days off randomly sometimes. And then we're screwed. So now we have two techs for each of those services, and so we can balance it well. But our detailing stuff, if the guy calls in sick, we have a roster of people. There's a million people out there looking for work right now. And we have a roster of people we could call and be like, hey, you free to take a shift today? Nah, sorry, I'm tied up doing something. Okay, no problem. Go down next name on the list. You free to take a shift today? Absolutely. I could be there in 20 minutes. Done. Boom, they're there. Getting them to do something simple with this low hanging fruit is a piece of cake. I don't have to put them through some rigorous training program. I don't have to get them to,
There,
install
spray
some.
on here, wipe, and then wipe it off.
Exactly. Yeah. As my business partner Nick says, he's like, if they can wipe their ass, they can do the job. He's like, because that's similar principles.
You can dodge a wrench.
You can dodge a ball. Yeah, absolutely. But that's where, for me, the volume based side of things is key. But a lot of people we've gotten into this artistry, right? Where we're detailers and we're artists and so on
And
and so
I've said
forth.
that. I do
And
believe it.
yeah, and hey, if that's the
That's
path,
self-employment.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're talking business here.
Business owner. Yeah, but yeah, see, and that's where the big difference is. And it makes me think of restaurants, okay? So McDonald's, arguably, or inarguably, not sure. Without a doubt, I'll say it that way. Without a doubt, the biggest restaurant business in the world. We can all agree on that, I'm sure. Is it the best food though? Not really. But what they do really well is they are not terrible. They're not absolute shit.
It's on who you ask.
Fair. But no, what I'm saying is they are the best at not being absolute shit. So, for example, if you ask someone best restaurant they ever been to, right? You might be like, oh, the Grotta in Italy, oh, the one that's overlooking the Adriatic Sea. Okay, great. But how many times did they eat there? Oh, we went there once. But you never went back. No, they went there once. But wasn't it the best food you ever had? Yeah, it was the best meal we ever had. But you ask that same person, and they've eaten McDonald's 50,000 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference for me is that we aim for being the best, but the best within the expectations of our customer that we discuss with them and we set for them. And what we want to be is not shit. You have to avoid being shit, obviously, but striving for perfection, striving for a $800 detail. It's you're going to be few and far between with your clients. For us, it's the frequency because the more customers you have, the reason it's easy to scale is you can teach anyone to do it, right? Number two, it's something that pretty much everyone can afford. Number three, you're going to get 10 times as many referrals. If you bring in 10 customers in a month and my shop brings in almost 200, how many referrals am I going to get versus you? How
There's
many
got to be a
people?
graph, right? That's what in
Yeah.
my mind I just started thinking as you talked. I go,
Mhm.
there's got to be a graph. There's got to be something we could visually start to think about, and then where do we want to line up on that?
Yeah.
So let's use your analysis of
All right.
McDonald's.
All right.
No, okay. What's the worst gas station? How about there? Gas station hamburger or frozen frozen
Yeah.
grocery store hamburger?
Yeah. All right.
uh, Hungry Man,
Okay, there we go. Yeah,
right? So
that'll
let's
do it.
just think meat, and you could like,
Is it
but we could
meat?
think burger, whatever you want.
Is it
Like,
meat?
right? Well, because then I was going to go to steak, but I was like,
Okay,
okay, let's
yeah.
stay in burgers. So, let's stay in the burger. The frozen burger you could get at the grocery store the gas station, burger that you got to take out of the thing and put in the microwave. It was pretty brutal, man. But
Yeah,
we have a place
green
here
peas in
called
the
Quick
toilet.
Trip. Can't talk about Come and Go anymore. They got bought by Maverick. It's terrible.
Oh damn.
But it's called Quick Trip, and that's what they're known for. They got these little sandwiches you put in. Well, I had a few. I won't
Yeah,
lie.
yeah, yeah,
Back in
yeah,
the day,
yeah,
until they
yeah.
came out with the hot dogs, and then there's rollers, and you go,
Yeah, the one
wait,
that
those
looks
have been
like
out forever. I go, maybe for you, you're listening, you're in your 20s to 30s, they've been out
yeah,
forever. For us, in their later 40s, they haven't been out forever.
yeah, yeah. It didn't
Um,
exist. Yeah, it's true. Jeez, that's sad to say. Oh my god, that's
like,
great.
so, there was times we had to suffer through some crap, right?
Yeah,
Uh, Then you'll throw that McDonald's name, right? Then let's throw somebody like Five Guys, or, there's some burger chains that are around the country. I'm trying to think of some that are, you could go, okay, let's go to what I've talked about, Whataburger and In and Out, right?
yeah,
That
yeah,
would be the next level. Step up from McDonald's, okay, would be
yeah,
there. Then you could go to like a Five Guys or more of a Fat Guys. This sit down. They're gonna have some beers, and it's a kind of a gourmet, but it's not a gourmet. It's still right. Then you could go to that steakhouse burger, right,
yeah,
where
yeah.
it is Wagyu beef,
Mhm.
right, ground up.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean it is the elite.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Where do you want to fall in that spectrum, right? And so then when you pick that out, then the other line of the other line is going to be volume,
yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And so I really bet you that the elite spectrum part, the elite gourmet burger is going to have the least amount of volume,
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
right?
100%. Yeah.
And so that graph, the further if let's say McDonald's is here, or you know, grocery stores here, McDonald's here, and we're going this way, bet
Yeah.
you that graph is headed that way if the volume is here,
Yeah.
right? Higher the volume here,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Then you could run
It's
into those
true.
different things about where do you want to meet with volume plus income per job, right?
Yeah.
And then you would basically figure yourself out on the map.
Where you want to be
Where
in
do
that
I want to
chart.
be?
Yeah.
And then you would
Yeah.
adjust your packages, adjust who you go after, adjust your pricing, everything based on what what type of
Yeah.
quality in a sense do I want to do
Yeah.
with the volume I want to do.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, and speaking of, to kind of tie the two in together, something we talked about, a few minutes earlier, looking at the result you want in the end, right, will dictate the process you go through. So at my shop, we've made it a mission to understand our business model, and that helps identify the marketing stuff we do, the demographics we go after. It helps identify everything within the business, the upsells we have, the products we use, the whole process, start to finish. If you do want to be one of those guys that I'm in an affluent neighborhood, I want to work on just high end vehicles, my customers are like this, maybe you are going to be on the higher ticket side, but excuse me, that's going to change the upsells that you're offering. It's going to change the way that you ask for referrals. It's going to change, the whole business is going to change compared to someone that's maybe in an area where there's a lot of students, there's a lot of Uber drivers, they're in a downtown core somewhere, and it's high volume. It's going to be totally different.
It would change to the key point about the Super Bowl party.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're
Absolutely.
going high volume,
Yeah,
lower ticket per moment, but
yeah,
high volume towards a certain demographic, that
yeah,
email, that guy dipping his hands in there with Mahomes jersey, that
yeah.
exact moment, they would love to know. Minus the bring my chairs, you're still gonna have to provide food.
You're still
Gonna
gonna have
have
to,
to
yeah,
do
yeah.
something, right?
Couple
Like
key things that are gonna have to be.
there's
Yeah,
some still key things that have to be done, but doing all that tells you then those moments like what demographic am I going to be going after, and if this is
yeah.
going to be successful or not.
Exactly, yeah, and it's kind of like Rolls-Royce. Long time ago, they changed their marketing. They stopped going to car shows, and the reason they stopped going to car shows was because when someone's at a car show and they see, oh yeah, there's nice cars here, there's this, that, oh no, look, there's Rolls-Royce. The price disparity between the Rolls-Royce and the other vehicles that were there was so massive, it made Rolls-Royce stand out as, geez, that's why purchase that when there's other cool cars here that are just as shiny, they're this, that. So what they started doing is they went to aviation shows. So
Mm.
they would go somewhere, and so if someone's looking at a Learjet that cost, $20 million,
They're
when
associated with the
when they
Rolls
get
Royce.
off of that jet and they're looking around like, honey, should we buy
jet.
this? And they're not sure.
Mhm.
Now all of a sudden, a $300,000 Rolls Royce is an impulse buy. It's like picking up a Kit Kat when you're buying gas. It's like, oh, well, 300 grand ain't too bad compared to $20 million for this jet. It's a completely different market. And so they looked at the results they wanted and they completely changed the process to get there. Right. And so it's the same thing. So if you want a certain
So
demographic,
hold on, play
yeah,
that out.
all
How's
right,
that translate?
all right.
Let's
So
translate it into a detail
sure,
shop
absolutely. So
that now has to go and what? Go to a nail salon,
could be absolutely,
like you talked about.
yeah.
How did they cross into some other place that most people wouldn't think about cars, but then once they're there, they're like, wait, yeah, I should get that cleaned. So I wouldn't think about nail salons so much as then that part, clean.
Mhm,
Where do people go to some place where they think about cleaning?
mm. Home and garden shows. Here we have a high end one here that's
It's
massive.
a good one.
Yeah,
Good
thank
one.
you, thank you. There you go.
Good
See,
one.
the bouquet
I think some people would say boat shows too.
boat shows would be fantastic, absolutely. And then you also have the added bonus if you offer marine services as well.
Well, you would have, yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
yeah, like because we work with a yacht club here, for example, and it's perfect for us.
Probably a lot less detail or competition over the boat
Oh,
show than there is the car
phenomenally
show.
less, big time, because it's the outside of the box thinking, number one, but it's everyone because there's a lot of self-employed people out there that are just like, oh, I gotta do some advertising. I'm in the car industry, so I go to the car show, right? But there's a lot of other shows out there. There's a lot of other businesses out there, facilities, locations, so on and so forth. I would say focusing on some luxury sports sides as well, like
We
tennis.
talked. Oh, good one.
Yeah,
Remember we talked about when my stepson got into the club team,
yeah,
right? The club
absolutely.
soccer team. Good one. Great
Exactly.
job. Yeah.
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 See, all those kind of tie-ins
Yeah.
where
Golf courses. That's an easy one we
yeah.
talked about.
Oh yeah. And for me, it was the dance classes because my daughter, she was in a private
Mm-hmm.
studio,
Yep.
and like these people took it serious. There's gymnasts, everything. They competed on national levels. It was a serious thing. But the people that went there, everyone drove fancy cars. Everyone had money. Everyone lived in massive houses. Everyone was of a certain class and status. So there's ways that you can position yourself to be around those people. And so if you want to get a certain result, maybe you just got to change the room you're in. And so instead of going to same old car shows or the coffee, meet and greets and stuff like that, those are great. Don't get me wrong. But depending on the result you want, that might not be the ideal market for you. And so that's where, yeah, looking at, what, maybe I'll make that graph for people and show kind of like how little changes could happen because as Marshall mentioned, you take that $25 upsell, that's not really going to impact your business in a huge way if your average ticket price is, $1,200, $2,000, $4,000, because your volume's not going to be there. But it will impact you in a big way if you're dealing with 25, 30 cars a day. $25 add-ons at that point make a big difference, right? And so that's the difference of where you want to fall on that spectrum and looking at those key metrics of, okay, if I tweak this a little bit or tweak that a little bit, it changes your position on that. Let's call it a map. It moves you to a different location on the map, and you might be in a
It's a
much better
graph, Sean. It's a graph.
graph. All right, the graph. We'll go with the graph then. Fine. But yeah, where you are on the graph, depending on your XY coordinates, you're going to get to the result that you want to be at. Because there's some people out there, they don't want the volume. They associate volume with headache, more labor costs, that kind of stuff. And I just want to detail cars, Sean. I just want to do one car a day. I'm happy. If I do 2 cars a week, I'm
Oh,
happy. And
cool.
that's great. If that's what you've identified as being happy, then that's perfect.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that frame of mind, you're like, man, I want to make as much money as possible and have a bunch of people work for me and stuff. You might, want to consider a volume based business instead, where you can train a bunch of people to do something that's really simple for them to do. They can execute it, work all day long, and you're going to make money off of their efforts and their back. Just
So,
simple.
which do you think? Which of those two
All right.
complained more this past weekend on social media
I
about
already
the
know.
Google and everything going on, Google My Business, Google reviews, all that stuff. Like, wow, there was a ton, right? Nick, my partner, had
Oh yeah.
to give me the insight. But once I started looking at it, it was like, woo,
It was night and day. You could tell. I could almost tell you where, if we make that graph, I could tell you where on that graph people fell based on the ones that complained, the ones that said
explain
nothing.
that.
And so for me, so at our shop, high volume shop, busy all year round. Right now, well, a lot of people are slowing down. We were talking about before we jumped on the episode, a lot of businesses are closing down. Those guys weren't the high volume like us. We're hiring right now. I spent my morning going over resumes and having interviews this morning. That's what I've been doing for the last 4 days. We're hiring people right now. We're growing while other people are shrinking or worse, closing down. I haven't complained about the Google reviews. We got hit too. It's not unique to one business. It's Google's entire network. They have a what they call an outage. It's a software glitch, but they call it an outage. So anyway, okay. So we'll go with outage. But part of it's outage. The other part of it though is removing bad reviews. They're cleansing the system. There's accounts that they've identified as spam. There's accounts they've identified as inactive or disabled or abuse or whatever the case may be. In some instances, people are being penalized because they've tracked down that people were basically incentivizing people to leave reviews. That's against Google's policy. So yeah, you can't buy reviews apparently. Yeah. so there's a lot going
Hold
on.
on, let me go back. There's that new thing on your phone where
Right.
you can like record in the middle of a conversation. Let me see if I can do that in here.
Mm.
Let me re-record that part. Did you just say
Run it
that
back.
people leave fake reviews
Oh
and
yeah.
that you shouldn't trust Google reviews?
I would say I would
No,
say
I put that last
consumers.
part in. I was trying to trick you.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I would say
But
consumers
right, like
do trust
most
them.
people don't. I've always
They,
sworn by that. I think I even
yeah,
talked right recently about the people on the shit like the there's used to be when
yeah.
I first got into Google AdWords and all that. This
Mhm.
would be his name was Mike Henley. It was Fine Airport Parking. He started doing these little pages, and this was early Amazon, and you could do
Yeah.
those books, and people would buy books
Yeah.
off of Amazon links.
Yeah.
This will tell you how far back that goes. Let me 2012, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah.
And we would do that. We would put up these little one-page little deals, and you would put the right words. If you get the right words, you'd go in. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the game.
Yeah. It
That's
is.
the game.
Yeah, 100%. And you definitely get people. Sometimes it's spam bots, but most of the time it's people that leaving a review, but they haven't ever been to the business, but the IP address tracks back to it's your cousin in some other
So
place.
what we learned was you
Yeah.
could grow that with paying these people on a ship
Yeah.
over outside the U.S. waters, and they're on
Anything,
international waters. And this was, like I said, I just
anything
gave you a date.
goes.
So that's all changed. I get it.
Yeah.
But that's why I jokingly said, oh, in 2025, we think that there's fake Google reviews.
Yeah.
Another reason why I've always given you shit,
Absolutely.
Sean,
Yeah.
about get your Google reviews, get your Google reviews.
Yeah.
Half the time, who, if you want to be somebody at the end of that spectrum, getting those elite customers, how many of those people you would ever go ask, did you read a Google review? I don't know anybody that has a net worth above $100,000 that reads a Google review.
Yeah. And the reason is you have other trust factors that you consider, right? Someone that made a purchase at some place, and that means more to you than an online Google review, right?
Bingo. Like I said, I'm going to push back on you on this one, Sean.
Yeah.
This has
No,
been
man.
my thing for all along. I
Yeah.
don't understand why people have been so hung up on Google reviews because
So
then now you got a moment like this where it goes to shit. And
exactly. So here's the thing.
and Sean's point, this is why I want to keep pushing. Like Sean in that graph would have been in a part where the amount of Google, it was fit for a clientele base.
Yeah.
But if your clientele base is way on this other side of the graph, Google reviews
Don't
shouldn't
worry
mean
about it.
dick to you.
Yeah.
Dick.
100%. For me, they make sense because we're going after volume and a
Unless you're
lower
female.
price point.
You know,
Yeah.
my bad.
And but here's the thing: we also accumulated so much that ours. I think we lost just over 100, like 104 or something like that. And they'll come back. But
Oh, hey, my bad too.
hey, no. But here's the thing: we had almost 1,500 of them. So like, it's a drop in the bucket in a way, you know. But if someone's only got like 50, 60, and they lose half of them, that's a big deal for them, you know. And so it's like, so maybe the reviews you were getting weren't the greatest quality ones because Google, yeah, they make mistakes and stuff, but this was like a couple days now that things have been going on. If it was just a glitch,
If your
they would have
clientele
fixed it.
base was one direction, you wouldn't. So this is the other part, right? The
Yeah,
interesting part, like you said, it didn't really affect you.
yeah,
But then you could see some people that they were screaming.
they were, yeah. But that's because they also put all their eggs in one basket, where that's what
Oh,
they
that's
rely on
interesting. That's
entirely.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean they put all their eggs in one basket?
So a lot of people, it's kind of like people that do Facebook Marketplace ads. That's everything. And then you see those posts. It's like, my business is slowed down. Facebook is bullshit. Can you believe they took down my Facebook Marketplace page? And it's like, you're an idiot. You put all your eggs in just Facebook Marketplace. Like, what are you doing? And it's like, you got to spread yourself out. You got to be omnipresent. You got to be on every platform, channel, area that you can be, because
A lot
something
of work,
might get
Sean.
turned off. You might get blocked on TikTok, maybe.
A lot of work.
So it is a lot of work, but that's success requires that work, though, right? And so you can put all your eggs in one basket, but just don't complain about the work you were too lazy to put in. I'm okay with that. If you want to put all your eggs in one basket and roll the dice, go for it. But I don't want to hear your complaints when that avenue gets turned off and they turn off the tap, because you don't own Facebook. You don't know Mark Zuckerberg personally. So you're not getting reinstated tomorrow. They don't give a shit that your business is closed. They've got bigger fish to fry. So you got to spread yourself out. And Google reviews are super important to certain demographics, but they help with SEO. But that's their only function. If that's what you're using to rely on building trust with your potential customers, that alone, we've got this many Google reviews. We mention it, we don't rely on it. We mention it along with a bunch of other things. We've done stuff, you know, we worked with the Olympic team, we got our logo on the bobsled for the Canadian Olympic team, stuff like that. That doesn't just
It's
happen to
482nd. You
anybody.
did a
Yeah,
great job.
we did a great job. Yeah, I know. Second place is the first loser, but it's fine.
Did you really? You got second place?
No, we didn't get second place,
Oh,
but
I did
we
not.
did do well though. We did do really well. Pat
Good
Norton,
for you.
he crushed it. He's done a great job. But yeah, so it's
Did
we
I ever tell you my old high school offensive line football coach, Dave Owens, is on the bobsledding coaching team for the U.S. bobsled team?
No, you never told me that. That's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Holy shit,
Oh,
that's
Dave
neat.
Owens. His name's Dave Owens. Yeah.
Damn. Wow, that's wicked. Damn, man,
Yeah.
what a crazy tie-in. Like both of us have a
Interesting, huh?
yeah, that's wild. Damn, that's coincidences.
I'll say his
That's
name
the
a third time
universe.
if somebody fucking doubts me. Or look
Yeah,
him up
yeah.
on Facebook. He's a huge dude. I mean, he's ginormous.
Hey,
He's got a family that's like,
yeah.
he always looks, we always put him in like Drago. He's Drago from
Oh
back in the
shit.
day.
Yeah, yeah,
Then
yeah.
his wife is same. They had triplets.
Oh,
Triplets.
oh,
They're all the same. And
they're all the
I
same?
think a boy
Holy,
and two girls, or it's two boys, I don't remember, but they're
yeah.
all like these blonde headed,
Just
like
like fucking,
German
yeah,
test
like
tube babies. And it's
shit,
like
that's too
fucking
big.
wild.
That's crazy, yeah. I'm wondering if it's something with certain bobsled teams, because like the entire bobsled team we have here is big too. Like they're just, but I always wonder, I'm like, you're gonna all fit in that little thing? Like there's no way. And they do. I mean,
A
it's
lot of
dope.
yoga, Sean. A lot of yoga.
A lot of yoga. Yeah. I'm gonna have to tell Pat you said that. He'll die laughing. That's funny. But but it's being in all these places is important though. You know, like for you guys at HyperClean, you guys aren't just relying on, you know, just email marketing, for example. No, you're gonna do email
Shit, hold
marketing.
on.
Oh shit. You're like, oh no, yeah, you're gonna do email, because
Wait,
even
we're not doing what? Oh shit, hold on. I gotta change it.
yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, you're right.
Because like email too, you might have some issue with email. It's not going through or something like that. There's things happen, you know, like Google servers might be down, your workspace email is not working, whatever the case may be. Shit happens, and so you can't rely solely on one thing. So you have to be out there, but it's a process. So okay, if you're short on time, spend your time finding a way to hire someone to do that one platform, and then train them on the others, or find a way to use AI to streamline it so it's faster. There's ways you could do things, but in the beginning, you're doing the work, and then find a way to make that more efficient. Then, like social media, people are still posting on this one, and then they log into the other platform, they post there. When there's apps out there like Hootsuite where you just post in one place and it connects to all your socials and posts all over for you. So you put it in one place. So you're doing one job instead of five, and then it's doing the other four for you. So it's things like
But
that.
you know, the SEO on that, you're not supposed to do that.
Oh no, you can do that.
Algorithm, no, you're not supposed to use one thing and put them out on. No,
Oh,
you're supposed to individually go out onto each platform. Yeah,
that's
oh, yeah, you have to.
that's nonsense.
No, they know that. They
No,
know it.
it's no. You're logged in. I'm talking about like posting on Facebook, Instagram, and stuff. You go into an app like Hootsuite. You log it. Yes, it.
No,
I'm
we
telling you.
hear. So this is interesting, right?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is some of the interesting back and
YouTube
forth. See, we hear you're not supposed to. They can see
makes
it,
makes no difference at all. It makes no difference at all. I'm telling you. It's
but the SEO
yeah.
side, right? That it does need
For
to,
websites and
because
stuff.
if no, but it's the same, right? Okay, or words, right? You can't have the exact same words on
Mm-mm.
TikTok
No, no, no,
as
no, no. Here's the thing. Okay, I see what you're saying now. If you have the exact same post, yeah, that's not going to work well. But these apps don't just post everything identically. So, for example, it's all built with AI now, so it'll tweak the message. Some of them they don't like hashtags, some of them prefer hashtags, so on and so forth. So it'll add things in, stuff like that. No, 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 no. You're right there. Okay. To clarify, Marshall's absolutely correct. For SEO, if you're posting on all five social platforms or something with the exact same message, exact same image, everything, that's a no go. No bueno.
or
But
algorithm or whatever you want to
yeah,
call it.
yeah, yeah, because it's going to be
They'll
duplicate
shut that
content.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the new platforms, they all use AI now and they do minor variations and things. And so you can post once and it'll take that message and it'll just tweak it a bit, reword some things, stuff like that. So they're different and it's 100% perfectly fine for SEO and it doesn't impact you at all. If anything, it's going to boost things better. It even
So
changes the
basically, if you did
creations.
that route, you would be saying that I'm not going to put much of my egg in this basket.
Mm,
I'm just going to use something general, which is fine. I think there's been a big transition away on social. If you're in a service space, I think it's just a box check. I
uh,
just need to have somebody, if they go look on Instagram, if they go to Facebook, I really
then
don't
it's
think you're going to gain a customer.
no,
And
I
I get it if
agree.
somebody goes, well, okay,
Yeah,
okay, I get it.
yeah, yeah,
Most of us aren't going to be gaining customers in 2025 by posting this photo or video of the detail we got. It
yeah,
really does need to be just about showcasing your work so that when people come onto social media, they can see what
yeah.
you do.
I
Should
agree.
you still have the appropriate? Yes, it doesn't mean you slack on the other parts of it. You
Yeah,
still
yeah,
have to
yeah.
do everything the right way.
100%. And my advice would be do that to post on the apps that you're not using often or you don't want to post on 10 different sites and stuff like that. But pick one or two, and that's going to be your focus where you're going to try and potentially build an audience, but not build an audience for sales. I would say more build it for education. And it's going to be part of the playground,
So
like we
where do you
talked about.
funnel them?
Yeah,
How do
so
you do that? Well, how does OrbisX take somebody that maybe watches something on social? How does OrbisX
so
be able to get that person into? Is that possible?
yeah, oh, absolutely. Good question too. So there's two ways to do it. We have a native way that's built in where like from your website or landing page, you can actually have that saved directly as a lead in the system and that'll initiate your follow-ups.
So on your social media profile, of course, we would all
Yeah,
say you should have your website, right?
absolutely.
Easy, low hanging fruit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Website on your
Low
social
hanging fruit.
media platform. So they watch this video,
Yeah,
don't hit them too salesy. They're
yeah,
interested in something interesting. Then they just go to your profile. They click the website link
yeah,
automatically.
exactly. Because what you want here is foreplay with your customer. It's off the clock, so whatever. You want to warm them up. That's what you want, and get them prepped and ready for the sale. Some customers, sure, they're gonna. It happens to be the right time, the right ad, the right offer, and they're ready to just book now. Book me in today. That does happen sometimes, but it's not as common to find that on scale like it used to be. Now customers they postpone things, they get distracted, they do a lot more research, they comparison shop. There's so much more going on. Sometimes customers just intentionally wait as well. So, oh, I know I gotta get the car cleaned. Oh, you know what? Valentine's Day is coming up. I'm just gonna wait till Valentine's Day because there's probably gonna be a special. So it doesn't matter what you show them for the next like 10 days, they're waiting. They want that, they're going to strike when the moment's right for them. That happens for a lot of customers now. They know that we've been hammering them with offers and discounts and promo codes for decades. Obviously, this is going to happen where, it's like sign up to receive 10% off. And it's like, nah, I want you to grease the palms a little more. You know what I mean? Like they know this shit's out there. 10% is like standard now. So they're looking for that exceptional deal. They almost want Black Friday every day, right? And so how do you avoid those customers? Because you don't
Oh
want
yeah, I was gonna
yeah,
say
you
you don't
don't
want
want
those
that.
people.
Yeah, yeah. I figured let me clarify so people don't think I'm saying go after
Yeah.
those. But when you're in the online only space, that's a lot of the stuff you're gonna get. Like a lot of these guys gripe about, oh, I don't want any more phone calls. I want, them to just book themselves. I want them to see my ad, get seduced by whatever price I'm offering, book themselves. I don't want to fucking
Fuck,
talk
don't
to
we
them.
all? Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They'd be perfect, right?
Like the
To the
virgins
point
when I
that,
die too. I'm
yeah,
in.
yeah. Marshall, some of them remove
My
their
own
phone number.
planet and virgins? Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Some people remove their phone number from their website now because they're like, no, 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 just fill out the contact form or whatever. I don't want to talk to anybody. But like, there's been studies done. The prospects that call, you'll have a 35% closing rate. The prospects that are solely booking themselves online, it's like 2 to 5% at most. Most times less than 2%. And I tell you, when you look at that difference in the closing ratio, I'd rather be closing 35% of the phone calls I'm getting minimum versus 0.185% or whatever of the website traffic I'm getting. And usually, someone you talk to, you're going to end up, someone that's picking up the phone and calling you, you're going to usually have a better customer from my experience versus the ones that just self book. It does happen, sure. But the self bookers that just go online, and this is from the technology guy telling you this. So pick up your damn phone, keep it posted out there, but also have the website stuff there too. You got to have all of it. There's gonna be some people that are too shy to call. They don't have time. I'm standing in line at the bank. I don't want to be on the phone talking to a detailer. Who knows? But then you got someone else that's saying like, geez, I was recommended to this company by my buddy, and I don't want to. I don't even care. I'm not going to go to your website. He gave me the number. I'm going to call. And I don't care about your Google reviews. I don't care about your Instagram post from last week. I don't care about the mirror reflection that you made. I don't give a shit. My buddy, Chad, he says you're the guy to call. I just want to talk to you. So you got to have all of those options open to people, and that's where with OrbisX, the big difference between other booking systems that are out there is we focused a lot on bringing the offline online and bringing the online into a streamlined convertible format. And so it's helping you tap into all these other places that you're using so the leads can go in there, and then now they're in your playground and you funnel them through with information excuse me, information, calls to action, stuff like that. You nurture the lead, and that's what OrbisX is really, at its core, is a lead nurturing system that has advanced reports, expenses. Guys, enter your fucking expenses. Anyway, it has all this stuff in there. I'm touching on something I want to talk about next week. We're gonna deep dive into an account and go over
Yeah,
some.
that's gonna be fun. I can't wait to get into
Yeah,
that next week. Yeah,
yeah. We're
we'll
gonna
deep
show you
dive
guys.
into the count.
Yeah, what you need to do, areas where when you look at your reports, you can tell. I can look at a business account in 5 minutes and I can tell you where their seasons are. And I'm not talking winter, spring, summer, fall. I'm talking the business, the seasonality of the actual business, the purchasing patterns. I can tell you if that business is probably going to fold, if it's going to be profitable, if they're growing at a right, pace. The services and packages, is it a mess? Is it clear to understand? We're going to deep dive into an account. It's going to be something. And
And once you take the emotion out, now I'm excited for this little journey for us because I think there's listeners who be like, "Hey, man, I'd love you to do that for mine."
yeah.
Once you take the emotion out of it, and you go back to last week's episode, like if you just look at the core black and whites of it,
Mhm.
that's what we hope to get out of it. And anybody that can look at the tape, tail of the tape, go back and look at what happened, look at your account, can actually look down black and white and see
Yeah.
what's going on. That it's not about
It's
if
not a
you
personal
argue
attack.
that, if you
Yeah.
argue that,
Yeah.
then you're emotional. You
Yeah.
can't argue it. You have to do it. This isn't a question of yes or no. Like
Yeah.
it's not.
It's an
Like it's
absolute must.
yes.
It's a
Like
requirement. It's
yeah.
an absolute requirement. And that last point I'll bring up is that it brings up a good point about types of people. So it's the difference between a thermometer and a thermostat. Okay, so a thermometer will tell you what the temperature of the room is. So it's the room that determines the temperature, right? That's a thermometer. A thermostat tells the room what temperature it's going to be. And so every day you can wake up and you're either going to be a thermometer or a thermostat. So if you're a thermometer, you're doomed to forever being impacted by shit beyond your control, by other people's opinions, by other people's, thoughts or advice or something. But if you can get past that and you can turn yourself into a thermostat, you can set the tone, you can set the temperature, and you can say, you know what? I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be grateful for what I have. I'm going to be appreciative of the fact that there's people out here giving advice to them for free, willing to deep dive into their business for free and go over things with you guys and say, hey, listen, all we want is a kickback, like, subscribe, whatever, tune in, share with your friends. Not asking for much here. Buy us a pint once in a while. But reality is, we're here helping out because we wake up like that every day. I know I
I'll
wake
say
up.
I know why I do it. I do it for ultimately what we talked about, community.
Yeah,
As the tide rises, so should all ships. I
yeah,
mean, there's a reason why you and I continue these episodes.
yeah,
I don't think we should. I don't think we should skip over that part. I really don't.
yeah, yeah. That's good.
I think that people should understand we we have intention to this, and a lot of that intention is growth.
Yeah,
It's growth of your
100%.
company. It's growth of my company with my
Yeah,
partner Nick. It's growth of OrbisX. It's growth of
yeah.
HyperClean. And then
That's the fun.
eventually,
Yeah,
we hope to see growth from each person that's
every
listening.
single one. Yeah,
Right? I mean, we are intentional to that. I don't want to hide
yeah,
over it. And whatever we do together, we hope that they can gain out of it also.
yeah,
And eventually, that will tie into, hey, I can see, tangibly see on my bottom line how this has worked out. How, whether it's an idea that we've done, whether it's a new button that's been pressed, whether it's the email that then somebody buys HyperClean because we get all that finally done. I
yeah,
really do think, I mean, ultimately, that is the longest tail. I don't want to hide that
yeah.
moment. That is ultimately the longest tail.
That's
Each of
that's a
us
good point.
share
Yeah,
in all the information, all the talk that you and I joked, right? I sent you
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
image earlier of Greg, right? Like you go back to those, right? All that
yeah,
information, it all ties into how can we all share off of a customer? How can we all
yeah.
share off of finances? How can we all be a community?
That's
How can we
true.
all do revenue together?
Just
How
strength
can
in
we all
numbers,
do? I
right?
mean,
Yeah, and
there's
we can
no
all do it.
awards,
Yeah, that's true.
just revenue.
Oh, I thought I was getting
Revenue.
awards. I was gonna put it up behind me here. That's no. Yeah, but no, it's true. That is the reward. That's the trophy. Is growth, the community growing as a whole, all of us growing individually as well. But that is the reward. Is seeing the dollars rise, seeing things become more efficient, more optimized, more streamlined. To get messages from people and know that they have a better grasp on their business because they were like, holy shit, I didn't know like I was supposed to enter my expenses or I was supposed to look at my, end of year reports. I didn't know that. I thought that was just for my accountant, and it's like, no, it's for you, and so
Yeah.
seeing people actually take action, that's why we do this. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's never a personal thing. It's just like you said, not to say it's just business, but it's criticism and advice without emotions involved. It's just like this is a judgment free safe space. There's no it doesn't matter. Like take the advice or don't take it. But this is the raw
I'm
fact.
excited to see who messages you and says, I want to be next.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me too. Yeah, yeah. Shoot the message over. Yeah, yeah. You'll be up next. Absolutely, because there's always room for improvement. Like I'm constantly hounding my staff, going over things, reviewing reports, assessing even my own productivity. It's important. It's the only way to keep growing and evolving. And if you don't do that, you're gonna close up shop.
And
That's
we'll make sure to not to keep. I know there's one guy that posted like, "Hey, I made it through the whole sitting."
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
we do
Well,
have some long episodes.
that's true.
We
That's
do
true.
need to get to some shorter
We'll dial
episodes.
it back to even today. I was like, we'll do a quick one, and then
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
that didn't happen. Yeah, that's true. Fuck. All right, so we'll leave it there. We'll see you guys next week. Tune in. We're gonna do a deep dive in OrbisX into an account and go over some stats, numbers, and if you want to be next, shoot your info over, and yeah, we'll go over things, and you're gonna see a drastic improvement afterwards if you listen to the advice and employ some stuff in your business. Cool.
Awesome.
Appreciate you, brother. We'll see you next time. All right. Cheers.